I want to talk about...
Imposter Syndrome is an album created by dubstep producer Hydraulics. It was released in early September of 2021 under the Wakan record label. The story goes that it came about because, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Hydraulics was dealing with massive imposter syndrome and wanted to prove to himself that he is cracked at music production by creating an album's worth of some of his best material. What follows is one of the most heavy-hitting, unhinged, unapologetically insane bass music I have ever heard. Sometimes, when making art, the best thing to drive you is to show yourself how far you can go with a project, far surpassing not only your previous work, but that of your contemporaries. But this also begs the question, what if someone were to do that and instead prove the voices in their head right?
I want to talk about imposter syndrome. Wikipedia refers to it as, quote, a psychological experience in which a person suffers from feelings of intellectual and/or professional fraudulence. While the phenomenon most often refers to the workspace, I feel it is equally valid to acknowledge its impact on the social aspect of one's sense of self. I bring this up for a very simple reason. I have imposter syndrome, and I can't seem to make it go away.
Once upon a time, I stumbled across a quote by Leonardo da Vinci that has stuck with me ever since. Art is never finished, only abandoned. Having spent my whole life as an artist, in many different forms, it really resonated with me and helped me push past my inherent perfectionism. It is because of this mindset I had made for myself that I can competently make something and have it done on time, as trying to finish the work would be futile. However, this also leads to the unforeseen side effect that I will always judge my work as not good enough, no matter what I do. While these feelings may have persisted regardless, their palpable feedback hits even harder when I go hard on myself for not going hard on myself enough to have made it better. Perhaps it is a fight I am doomed to fail, even if I try my best not to participate. As for examples of what I mean, one might assume that I refer to my videos, and while there is some truth to that, it isn't nearly as strong as it is for other mediums. Regardless, it's a good place to start with to get my point across. While it is comforting to feel confident in much of the content I produce, there are these nagging feelings that I might be going in way over my head. I like to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, but I'm not that amazing of a player, above average at best. So me having any authority talking about how good or bad some cards are feels especially fraudulent since I don't interact with the community that much outside of rare opportunities.
I think maybe Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not for some.
I try my best to advocate for autism awareness, but I'm not a professional in any sense, and it sometimes feels like I'm pulling shit out of my ass trying to talk about it. I get so annoyed at the editing process, I constantly try to find excuses to put in as little effort as possible. My most publicly viewed video had to receive an addendum for how many errors it had. Of all the ones to see viral levels of success, it just had to be the one I was the most wrong about. A classic tale for the ages, I know. As for other mediums I was referring to, one that I have been feeling really self-conscious about has been my recent attempts at commentating. If you're unaware, I've been doing a bit of competitive Splatoon commentating for Metro Inc., and even got accepted into several other fan-run organizations, such as the Splatoon Stronghold and Dapple Productions, for potential commentating and voice work. Though nothing has come of that yet, and this is my first time even acknowledging it publicly. I know I'm very new to the scene of commentating, but that doesn't change the fact that I feel as though I'm still not good enough to have been allowed in the first place. Make no mistake, I am, and forever will be, extremely grateful for what Pico, Power, and the rest of Metro Inc. have done for me. But it doesn't stop me from wanting to kick myself over and over again for trying to tell a joke with just the punchline and forgetting to provide the setup. Twice! In a major! In grands! It especially makes me feel bad for Deed, my friend and co-commentator for most sets I've been a part of so far. While I do think we work off each other well, I can't help but feel she does a lot of the heavy lifting for me. I know she's more experienced, but that doesn't stop me from thinking stuff like how she's able to just effortlessly talk about all these minute details that I can barely comprehend, especially in an environment as fast-paced as commentating. I feel like the only stuff I'm able to muster is surface-level observation, and at that point, it feels like I'm talking down to the audience, which never feels good. Is that how commentary typically goes? Is there something I can do better? These are questions I try to answer every time I get on the mic, but I can only do so much when I'm basically improving my way through a set. This style of talking is not new to me, but having it take place in real time makes it really hard to get everything perfect in one take. Do you know how much effort goes into editing one of my videos just so I can sound comprehensive? Nothing makes me feel more like an outsider than when I try to talk about Splatoon on such a high level, but I don't follow comp that heavily. I have a surface level grasp of the game and its interactions, and I don't even play for top cut. It makes me feel like such a fake fan. Speaking of my friends absolutely mugging me, I can finally talk about my latest itch. My illustrations. For what it's worth, I feel like the sketches in my sketchbook tend to be fine sometimes, but any attempt I make to draw on a computer looks like a DeviantArt first attempt account made it. At the most recent Metro Inc. event, me and my friend, Soda Pop Leo, did a collaborative art piece where we drew our characters in the middle of a firefight. Or ink fight, I guess. My portion of the project took several hours to finish. I wanted this to be something I could be truly proud of, and prove to myself that I can make something great. By the time I was done, I was, for a short while, in disbelief at what I had made. But as time has gone on, the more it has gotten to me. Why wasn't the end of the umbrella aligned with the rest of the handle? Why was the canopy uneven in general? Why is the mask around the eyes way thicker than it should be? Why is the shading with the hat inconsistent with the rest of the shading on the body? Why is one foot noticeably bigger than the other? And why did I not correct that when I noticed while working on it? Why can I still not keep my lines straight no matter how hard I fucking try? And then I look over to the right and I see something without flaws. Now, I'm not delusional. I still think this is technically one of the best digital illustrations I've done, and my friend isn't immune from cutting corners themselves, but having them side by side like this really drew me into a headspace that I feel embarrassed for willingly walking into.
It's these sorts of feelings that leave me with even more questions. If I know this is all in my head, does that make them any less real? Am I alone with these opinions, or do others feel the same, though not as harsh, obviously? If I try to reaffirm to myself that I am the shit, would that in turn make me into an egotist? A narcissist? Where should I draw the line when it comes to being critical of myself? For my videos and my commentary, Is it okay for me to not know 100% of what I'm talking about, even if the subject matter is something as important to me as autism awareness? Is it reasonable to expect myself to know absolutely everything, or is relying on my own experiences enough? Even then, are my videos making an impactful enough of a difference, or am I just preaching to the choir? Am I informative or reaffirming? How can I truly know if what I'm doing is even worth it? With my art and my commentary, do I want to put myself next to someone more talented than me to prop myself up, even if unintentionally? Does me even bringing them up come off as disrespectful? I only do so for example, but is it worth it? Am I actually just dragging them down with me? Why even make a video like this in the first place? Am I looking for sympathy? Am I attempting to provide a warning for those of a similar mindset? How do I even know I'm doing the right thing? How do I even know how I actually feel about all this? Am I trying to hide my true emotions? Am I attempting to showcase them? Am I being introspective or selfish? How can I trust myself with knowing anything about myself when I'm constantly at odds with my own self-confidence?
A long time ago, I had the not-so-pleasant experience of coming to terms with the epiphany of an antithetic universe. I'm sure most well-adjusted adults have had to contemplate nihilism at some point in their life. But what really got in my head is how the way I interpret everyone and everything around me might not be what actually happens. If I had to assume, part of the autistic experience is needing to grapple with the fact that people say and do things that act contrary to what you understand as reality. This, in turn, has led me to be incapable of ever being able to trust anything I comprehend. The best I can do is just go through the motions and pray I was right. This has led to its own consequences of me assuming too much about things and making myself look like a dumbass as a result. Sure, it makes me cringe, but it gives me more sound of mind than if I had to try and make sense of everything around me. The reason I bring this up is because when my friends and mutuals tell me they like my stuff, how can I know they say that because they believe it, or because they're my friends and mutuals? They are a biased source for myself, and I am a biased source against myself. How should I be able to determine who is right? Where am I supposed to put my trust into? I do everything in my very being to try and believe in my own hype, but no matter what I do, I will never be free of my own thoughts.
Unfortunately, I don't really have an answer for any of these questions. I'm stuck in a prisoner's dilemma where if I choose to believe in one direction, my mind will just pull me in the other. The best that I can do is to continue to stumble through life and hope that will all work out somehow. It's been working so far, but I guess the last question I have is, how long is that gonna last before everything around me starts to crumble?
As impactful as an ending like that could be, I do have one thing that grounds me. I remember looking back at one of the VODs of my commentating and noticed a single comment that said something along the lines of, "This dude has me cackling," referring to me bringing levity with my dialogue. I can't explain it, but one single comment from someone I don't know gave me more reassurance of what I do than anything else around me. A completely unbiased source, the Twitch chat, not only accepted me, but actually enjoyed me. The occasional comments I get on my videos fulfill a similar role. That last LAN I went to, I had to process that the crowd at the front of the venue were simultaneously exclaiming their excitement that I had arrived, Perhaps my real conclusion is, it doesn't matter if I feel I don't belong. I am here, and they want me here. There are real people whom I will never meet that went out of their way to express they like my stuff. Even if my art isn't good, at least I'm drawing shit. Can't believe that's the bar now.
Again, I did not make this video to fish for compliments, as I feel they won't ring true when seemingly requested. And my feelings are no one's fault but my own. I also don't wish to throw anyone under the bus for anything I have said in this regard. But maybe I'm doing this as a type of public therapy? A way to hold myself accountable? Maybe it's my attempt at vent art? Who knows? All I know is I feel compelled to make it, so hopefully that was the right decision.
I also want to take the time to acknowledge to myself all the things I know I'm good at, since I have actual confidence in other areas. As mentioned before, my physical sketches are a lot better than my digital outputs, so I know that I'm at least not a sham of an artist. Like, not all of my work could be confused with AI. I know I can sometimes be funny. My jokes don't always land, and I'm not always able to express them the way I think them up in my head, but I've received enough reactions from others to know it's not just me that finds myself humorous. I know how to properly frame a shot. I know how to responsibly manage and utilize social media. I've really liked the voiceover stuff I've been doing. I have a decent enough vocabulary to properly express myself, best I can at least. I'm really good at providing positive energy wherever I go, regardless of how I might feel. And I look pretty freaking sweet, Lois. I know I'm not incapable of noticing what I'm good at, so maybe the truth is for me to give trust back to myself and attempt to improve on my flaws as best I can. I have so many things I want to do, so many aspirations for myself. I have so many stories and ideas I want to tell. And one in particular I've been workshopping for half my life at this point. But I don't know what way to tell it. Should it be a video game, a graphic novel, a visual novel, a webcomic, an indie cartoon series? Who would I hire? How would I pay them? Should I even focus on any of this right now? Or should I wait until an opportunity presents itself? Should I go out of my way to make that opportunity happen? Am I attempting to do that with this video? Have I spiraled once again?
More questions lead to more answers, lead to more questions, lead to more answers, and so on. It's exhausting. Maybe I've been so focused on my autism that I haven't thought of how to best handle my other disability, my ADHD. Or maybe I want this for myself for whatever subconscious reason. Maybe there's nothing to it and I'm just mentally ill, which, in all fairness, is the most likely reason for all this. I might never really know, and that's something that I'm just going to have to be okay with. The most that I can offer to myself is to do the best that I can, in whatever form that might take. It's going to take more than a broken mind to keep me from doing what I believe in. Thank you for dealing with me. And please do your best to take it easy on yourself.